Going to Ukraine radically changed my life. You know, before I went to Ukraine and we served with all those students, I had a friend that asked me, he said, "Why are you going there to serve when we have so many needs around us here?" And I get it, I didn't know how to answer that. But once I went, I realized it was great to go there and help. I made a difference, but it really made a difference in my heart, and that's an impact that I wasn't expecting. I was able to come back a better server and a servant of God to make changes here. And because of going over there, I think it really impacted my career in education.
Going to Guatemala changed my perspective of the world. I had heard stories and seen pictures from other people, but actually being there and being inside people's homes was different. It opened my eyes to how people live in other parts of the world. Through the mission trip, I learned to trust God more and rely on Him. Before the trip, I doubted if He could use me because I was young, but then on the trip, I saw that He did, and I learned I just needed to trust Him. The mission trip to Guatemala made me more open to how God may want to use me in the future.
So my first deployment on a national missions trip was with Samaritan's Purse to Nashville, Tennessee on a rebuild. Very shortly after that, I responded to a hurricane disaster in New Orleans and went there a couple of times. And after the second trip there, things changed as far as the focus of the trip. It wasn't any longer that I was going to help clean up or to do a project. Yes, that was the reason for it, but the whole purpose was to make sure that people knew that God loved them.
So going to Guatemala impacted me in a lot of different ways. And if I had to sum it all up, I would say it was growth. I didn't want to go on my first trip. I told my friends I would never go on a trip. And then when I went, I found that every aspect of my life, whether it was relational, professional, or spiritual, was impacted. It empowered me and enabled me to share my faith in ways that I had never done before. And doing that in another culture and in a language that I didn't speak gave me the strength to be able to do it here. And I found that that has grown Epic. It has grown our local community, and I hope in some ways has impacted Guatemala just as much as it's impacted me. We create relationships there, we've built them, we've nurtured them for 13 years, and continuing to grow through that, and being able to mentor and disciple the next set of missionaries that are going, that's a really powerful way to serve God. And I've found that that is something that God has built me for and a way that I can best serve Him.